You could go buy 12 of these deals, get paid up front to do it, put those 12 deals in your portfolio, you're done. You're done for the rest of your life. You actually have. We're back at it again with a whiteboard video on a real house that we bought subject to, no money out of our pocket, and actually got paid $15,000 to buy the deal. Today we're going to be breaking down all the numbers. How is this possible? How do I structure these deals? Where does the money come from? If you're not using your money, but you have closing costs and the seller gets some money, where does that money come from? We're gonna explain all of these numbers today and how you can also get access to some of that money. So let's jump right into it. House on 3932 West Myrtle Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona. This is an amazing story. We actually have a playlist of the first call I had with her, my first appointment with her in person, second call I had with her closing the deal. We have a walkthrough with Jack Selby at the property. Jack Selby is one of the co-hosts of Iced Coffee Hour. So 3932 West Myrtle Avenue is a property that we cold called the seller. I went to the appointment, locked up a sub-2 contract, and here is the purchase price of this house. So $368, $385, and 6 cents. That is a very weird number.
What a weirdo.
And the reason being is because we took over basically 3 mortgages, okay? So first lien position. The first lien is a loan that she has had for quite a while. The loan is 3.75 with a bank. The loan she used to buy the house, she still owes $109,441.71 on that. So we took over that. We are gonna be making that payment. That payment every single month. I'm gonna break this down for you guys, give you guys all the goods. That payment every month, we're gonna add up and say, hey, Pace, how the heck are you gonna make money on this? $1,099 per month. That includes principal, interest, tax, and insurance, that full $1,099. Okay, there's another lien. We didn't really know about this until we opened escrow, but there's another lien against the property, another debt she owes, and that is her home equity line of credit at 3% interest. Right now, she owes $127,943.35. That is also through a bank, okay? So that is subject to. I actually have 2 subject to loans on one house. Subject to for the first lien position, subject to we're doing on the second lien position. Now, the payment on that is $1,300. Cool. So can I take over HELOC subject to? The answer is obviously yes. Here's the address. You guys can pull up the parcel number. You can pull up the county record, see that I actually own the property. And these loans that are in the seller's name, by the way, the seller's name is on both of these loans. Even though she walked away from the house, I own it. Cheryl Lynn, you guys can go pull up the documents on public record and find that the loans are still in Cheryl Lynn's name. I didn't have to qualify for these loans. I didn't have to use my credit. I didn't have to get permission from the bank. I didn't have to do any of those things, which is cool. Now the seller, one of the biggest reasons why she sold to us is because she wanted all her equity out of the house. She had put a lot of time, energy, and effort into making this house into an Airbnb that did not cash flow, but she spent all this time. She took pension money. She's a retired school teacher. She took pension money and poured it into this house. And she's like, I just really want my money back out of the deal. I go, no problem. I'm happy to give you all that $130,000. We'll put you in third lien position. She's the seller, therefore she's financing me. 0% interest. Yes, that's legal, and yes, it happens all the time. She's giving me 0% interest at 131 grand. Here's the cool thing. She's taking 0 payments for the first 12 months so that I can get the house cash flowing, making money. So she gave me that reprieve, okay? So 12 months, $500 is her monthly payment once those payments start. So right now I don't have a payment for the next 12 months. I get the house operating, cash flowing, making a bunch of money, and then those payments start kicking in. That third lien position also is a 5-year balloon, which means in 12 months I start making payments, then I have 5 years of interest-free $500 payments that I will make to her, and then I'm required to pay her off in either lump sum, sell the house, refinance the house, what have you. There's now a company out there that will give me loans in second lien position, and they'll refinance all 3 of these loans and let me keep the first lien position in place. Firstandseconds.com. So think about that. In like 3 or 4 years, when I have to refinance the third, I have to refinance my Gator, I have to refinance the second lien, I don't want to get rid of this 3.75% rate that's been getting paid down for years and years and years and years and years. I can go to firstandseconds.com. First and Seconds will refinance these 3 loans and leave that loan in place and consolidate all of this into only one loan. So people ask the question like, well, how do you refinance out your lender? How do you refinance these things if they have a 5-year balloon? How are you refinancing? My answer always was you sell the property, you refinance it, or you pay it off in cash from the cash flow from the property. But now the answer is go to firstandseconds.com, get a second lien position and wipe all that stuff out. Insane. Okay, so my next lien is my gator, and I don't know exactly how much I needed for this, and that's one of the cool things is that we're going to tell you exactly how much I need right here. Check this out. I needed 1,000 EMD, but that gets refunded back to me, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm gonna pay myself the PACE fee. I like to pay myself on every deal $15,000, $20,000, sometimes $30,000 upfront every time we buy a deal. So I'm borrowing money from a gator to pay myself a $15,000, I just call it the acquisition fee. I pay myself a $15,000 acquisition fee. The seller is behind on her payments on her first lien. So this lien was behind. Her HELOC was also behind on payments, so $7,000. Closing costs with the title company is getcreativetitle.com. Paid them $3,500. We had a TC fee. If you guys need a TC, email Molly at pacemorby.com and she'll help you find a TC that can help you run these transactions for you. Molly at pacemorby.com. We then had a title policy. This is an insurance policy that makes sure that all the paperwork was done right. I get an insurance policy. Doc prep, this usually goes through an attorney, which is nice. Renovation and first month's payment. So I borrowed enough money to renovate the property and cover the first 2 months of payments of these 2 payments and this payment up front. So I borrowed money to pay for the payments for the first couple of months, and the seller got $5,000 to walk away, okay? So these are all my numbers, literally every cost. My team, I made money in the process, closing costs, insurance, couple of months of payments, renovations. I have $0 in the deal. This is how I'm buying deals with no money, no cash, no credit, none of that kind of stuff, and I'm getting paid in the process. So when you see me on Instagram or you see an ad of mine that's like, you can buy this with no cash, no credit, no credentials, that's what I'm talking about. I did not use a W-2 or my own credit or anybody's credit for that matter to acquire any of these 3 loans, okay? All 3 of these loans were given to me, I just take over the payments. This one was given to me at 0% interest with no payments for the first year, which is freaking awesome. So what is the dollar amount that I need to go to a gator for? The dollar amount is 15,000 plus 5,000 equals, okay, this is the actual number I need. So 60,540, okay, so $61,000. So my total cost of getting into the deal, pay attention to this, because this is where people are like, Pace doesn't buy houses with equity. This house actually is gonna be underwater in equity. You're absolutely right, okay? So 368 plus my 61, I'm gonna be 400, my actual purchase price with my purchase price is these 3 loans, but I'm putting renovations, I'm paying myself up front. So this is not part of my purchase price, it's my total cost to get into the deal. My total cost to get into is like 430 grand, let's just say. So I'm about $33,000 over ARV into this property. Now, of course, I've paid myself money, I'm cash flowing, it's gonna make money, but that's the next part of this video that I wanna point out is that I structured all of this, sub two, seller finance, PML. I structured all of this because, and I wanted this deal because it's still going to cash flow a significant amount of money when I turn it into the proper exit strategy. And we're gonna turn this into a co-living property. I'm no longer doing pad split. They're charging way too much money in fees. They're killing a lot of the clients that I've sent over there. And so we're just doing co-living, and I'm no longer gonna be using the word pad split. I'm gonna be using the word co-living or shared housing. But what I wanna talk about today is what is the cost on a monthly basis and how am I going to make money on this particular property over the next 5 years. So let's erase this now that you guys have seen this. We're gonna talk about the actual 6 ways to make money in real estate. So the total payment on Myrtle, I have to pay a first lien position at $1,099 a month. I have a second lien position at $1,300. And I also have a gator at $610 per month. So my total payment, let's just say it's $3,000 just to make it simple for the rest of the video, $3,000. Remember, out of this $610 payment that we have every month, I brought that from a guy named Kyle, who is also a gator in the gator community. If you guys want a list of gators, we'll give you a link in the description down below so you guys can have $15 million of gators at your disposal. So out of the money we borrowed from Kyle, I actually got paid 15 grand up front. So I've already made money. So the first way that we make money in real estate is we make money on fees, upfront fees. And I made $15,000 on this house before I even stepped foot in it. Made 15 grand. Now I could have made that number anything I wanted, but I chose 15 grand because it's kind of like, that's a good number. That's basically where that came from. And also I have to make sure that this $3,000 payment that I'm making every month, I can not only pay that, but I can make more money on there. So we're gonna get into that as well. So I made $15,000 up front. That's the first way we make money in real estate. The second way we make money in real estate is appreciation. The Fed is lowering rates right now. They're in the process of lowering rates. We have massive multi-billion dollar companies moving into Phoenix, Arizona. I think that appreciation in Phoenix is gonna go bonkers. And I think over the next 5 years, mathematically, our state appreciates about 8% per year. I know it's crazy, not state, our city appreciates about 8% per year. So if I bought the property for about $430,000, that's my total I'm in the deal for that. But what I bought it for was $368,000. So if I have a $368,000 house, it's going to appreciate every single year 8%. How much will I make in 5 years on this house? First year, okay, let's do the math on that. 368, we're gonna multiply that by 0.08. I'll make 29 grand in appreciation. That's pretty good. So 368 times 1.08. My first year will be, my house will be worth about 397. That's cool. Now this is the law of averages. This is not guaranteed. The market could crash. Everything could fall apart. But again, I don't buy only for appreciation. I buy for cash flow, typically in the beginning. So 397, 440 times 1.08. I'm at 429,000 in the second year. Multiply that by 0.08. I'm at 463. I definitely can see this happening, especially with rates going down and the growth of the market here. Then I'm at 500,000, 659. And then my final year of the 5-year projection, I will be at $540,712. I can definitely see this house going to 540 in the next couple of years. So I will have made about let's just say $145,000 in appreciation over the next 5 years. That's pretty cool, but here's how I look at that. If the property appreciates that much money, $145,000 divided by 60 months, because that's 60 months, right? I will have made $2,416 per month in appreciation. Appreciation really is why people get wealthy, okay? We get really, really wealthy this way. So fees up front, appreciation. 3 is going to be cash flow. So let's talk about the cash flow on this property. As we talked about, I have a negative $3,000 on the first of every single month. I got a payment that goes to a first lien position, a second lien position, and a gator. I have $3,000 a month that I have to pay in payments. So I already looked it up on AirDNA. I already looked it up as a regular rental. Let's go over to Rentometer. Rentometer's pretty good about this.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, so check this out. I would never do this deal. The only way that this would work, okay? The only way this would work, the average I can rent it is for $21.29. And so long-term rental, right? If I go, oh, I can bring in $2,129 a month on a long-term rental, I'm gonna lose so much money on a monthly basis. Now I could technically buy this property, assuming the property is gonna go up in value. That's never a good plan. You don't want to assume the property is going to go up in value at any specific time. You can guarantee scientifically, all the math has shown for the last 150 years we've tracked appreciation. The houses are always appreciating, always. And when I say always, it doesn't mean we don't have dips and valleys and stuff like that, but over time we have a continual gradual growth. Arizona is an average of 8%, the national average is 5%, okay? I could technically still buy this deal, lose $800 a month, plus renovations, plus lawsuits of evictions and stuff like that. And I could lose a bunch of money, but still make it up right here. I could still make it up right there and make a bunch of money, but I don't want to do that. So long-term rental is out. I looked this up also on Airbnb, and Airbnb says I can bring in about $3,800 to $4,500 a month on Airbnb. That's not enough for me. I want to make more than that. Plus, I don't like Airbnb. Airbnb is getting regulated, number one. I don't love that. I think the regulations are killing a lot of cities like Atlanta, Las Vegas, etc. And the bigger thing is that the demand is way down and the saturation is ridiculous. Guys, I don't know about you, but I want to be able to go to a property and be like, wait, I don't need to paint the walls pink and do like a theme. I'm sorry. I know it's fun, but after you do it 2 or 3 times, it's like, really, I'm not making the money I want. Guys, Airbnb is like a hobby. Are there like the select 1% of the 1% of real estate investors in Airbnb that are hyper successful? Yes, of course. There's always going to be those outliers. But the overall majority of the people in Airbnb that I talk to are like, I hate this business. It's so saturated. The demand is up, down, left, and right. It's very seasonal. And so also, you're not really solving a problem. Like, what are you doing as a real estate investor to solve a problem in America? And what are the problems in America? One of the biggest problems in America is affordability. And you'll see what I mean by this is that the government rewards us with tax benefits as real estate investors to solve affordability. I'm not solving affordability with Airbnb. And also, I hate the Karens that are on Airbnb. I don't want to renovate the property to make it look perfect and have a theme. I don't want to worry about all these stupid things and a text message at the end of the night, cleaners, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to deal with that. So what I am doing, I'm doing a lot more co-living, okay? I'm doing a lot more co-living or shared housing, right? Rent by the room. You can see Zillow's doing this as well. This is becoming a massive opportunity. And so let's talk about the numbers on a co-living property. This house, we've already talked about the numbers in a previous video. This house will end up having 8 tenants, okay? 8 tenants in this property. And the average tenant, we have one room that's gonna rent for $1,100 a month, and we've got the other rooms that are gonna be renting for about $875. So let's just say the average tenant is paying about $900 a month for living in one of these 8 rooms. So we're gonna do 8 times $900 a month. That also is assuming a 90% occupancy. So here's what the math is. 8 times 900. So we're gonna bring in $7,200 a month in co-living. Look at that.
Just look at it.
Airbnb is gonna bring in $3,800. I'm gonna deal with Karens and demand issues, saturation issues, regulatory issues, affordability. Like, I'm not doing anything. I bring in twice as much money by renting by the room. Then we're gonna take that number and we're gonna multiply it by 90% because the occupancy is 90% on a typical co-living house that we have. We currently have 12. I don't have a lot of them, but I have 12. We'll get a lot more. Let's take 7,200 times 0.9. The actual money we'll bring in is $6,480 because 10% of the time we're not gonna have people in those rooms paying that daily rate, okay? $6,480 is our actual number. Hopefully that makes sense where that came from. $6,480 for that property, $6,480. All right, now, I, as the owner of that property, I'm gonna have a big buffer. I'm gonna have a big utility thing. I'm gonna have money set aside for an air conditioning going bad. I'm gonna set some money aside for evictions, lawsuits. I'm gonna set a lot of money aside. So all of those things included, internet, utilities, cleaning, landscape cleanup, a little bit of buffer for lawsuits and all of those other things. I'm gonna take a massive $2,000 out per month to do that. Now this, when you're comparing the Airbnb number, this doesn't have your management in it, doesn't have your budget, doesn't have any of that. That's your top line revenue. My top line revenue of co-living is $6,480. So here's the math. I have $3,000 in payments. I bring in $6,480 a month. I also have $2,000 in miscellaneous things that I've got to pay for running this property. What is my actual net on this property? My actual net on this property is $1,480 a month times 60 months. Let's look at what I can make over the next 5 years on this one property. Dang, that's 88, but isn't that crazy? That you can only make $88,000 on all that cash flow after 5 years. And your 5-year projection over here is 145 grand. Appreciation, even when your cash flow is crazy good, your freaking appreciation destroys it. So cool. Okay. So the fourth way we're making money on Myrtle is we will make money on the depreciation, or a very simple way of saying that is the tax benefits, or another complicated way of saying that is a cost segregation. And you guys can go YouTube that word, cost segregation. Maybe I do a cost segregation video at some point soon, but we'll do a cost segregation which gives us the ability to offset other income this year. So a very quick out calculation, I will not do a long version of this. If I bought the property for $368 times 0.7 divided by 27.5 times 7 times 0.43. I will save real dollars this year of $28,195 of my taxes. So this is real money that I would have given this money to the IRS, but I'm actually going to save that. So $28,195, pretty awesome. That's in the first 5 years. Now, the fifth way that I make money on this is pay down. Okay, so this house, I'm making $3,000 in payments, right? I'm making $3,000 in payments. Here I pay down principal, and here I pay principal. I pay this house down about $500 to $700 down per month, which means that as the house goes up in value, the amount of money I owe also goes down. And so the tenants will be paying that for me. But our pay down, let's say $500 a month times 60 months, we're gonna be at $30,000. That mortgage is gonna pay down $30,000. Now, another way that we make money is we make money on leverage, okay? Leverage is when my property goes up in value and my mortgage goes down, I have the ability to use that equity to go do other things. And the way I do that is I go to a company called firstandseconds.com. And firstandseconds.com, they allow me to pull out my equity on my sub 2 deals and refinance and pull out all this equity, meanwhile keeping my original note in place. It's insane. Firstandseconds.com. So I can go and pull this out, and all of that money that I receive, so the 30 grand here, $145,000 here, Kyle's $61,000 that I borrowed from him, I can go pull that out, and guess what? I can get a big old check for a couple $100,000, and I don't pay any taxes on that. And so now I have the ability to get a big chunk of money and go buy more real estate. So this house on Myrtle Avenue, not only will it make me $1,400 a month, but I got paid 15 grand to buy it. Like, that is the crazy thing. I got rewarded 15 grand up front. That's what most people need to make in a month. You do one of these deals a month. Think about this. Here's the better math. If I did one of these deals a month, I would make $180,000 this year. Okay, cool. Make $180,000 this year in fees. If I did 1480 times 12 equals 17,760 of these per month net is how much money you're making in cash flow. That's freaking great. Most people could be done in 1 year of doing this, and you do one deal a month. That's it. And you use somebody else's money to do all of it. This is, sadly, it's not passive income. You want to know why this is not passive? Is because you have to manage this and you have to deal with the crap that goes with it. So just understand that. But this is, you could get your entire retirement set up in 1 year by doing 12 deals just like this. And we'll see you in another video.